One champion has been crowned, one to go at the Kingdom at the WIAA 3A High School Basketball Championships. The Olympia Bears getting set to take on the Rainier Beach Vikings. The Bears led by their star Mark Bigelow. The Vikings led by the talented Jamal Crawford.
You fans that are on the ground floor in front of the Olympia.
Let's take a look now at the boys matchup. Two teams that were part of the group called the Fab Five, the 5 teams that were supposed to make it into the semifinals. So it's no surprise that these two teams are here. Let's take a look at how Olympia got here to the final game. Olympia opened on Wednesday with an easy effort over the Knights of Newport, struggled for a half and then took charge against Everett, holding the goal scoreless in the 4th, and a semifinal victory over Mercer Island last night. Mark Bigelow averaged 22 points per game in the 3 games in the tournament, but no points were more important than 2 that he scored last night.
But when Crossay Freeman missed the first one, I knew there was a chance that he could miss second because, you know, a lot of free throw shooters, when they miss their first, like, oh, maybe I have to adjust to them. And so he missed the second one. I got the rebound, I looked up, and it seemed like there was only one person in front of me. I was like, okay, I just got to beat him. So I just saw an opening, I took it, threw it up, and went in the hole. And geez, just joy.
I saw Mark get the ball, I thought, oh, 6 seconds left, he can make a lot happen. And as soon as he got to half court, I knew that he would get a good opportunity. And as he's been for his whole career, he made an unbelievable play.
This is for everyone. This is for all my teammates. This is for my family, the fans. It was just that as soon as I went in, I couldn't believe it. We won. We won. It was Mercer Island's knocked off, Olympia's going on. And it was just an amazing feeling, you know. It was, man, I can't imagine what the state championship would feel like, you know.
Could Mark Bigelow and the Olympia Bears find out what a state championship would be like? With more on that, let's go back over to Tom and Dave. Gentlemen?
All right, John, thank you very much. Well, David, let's talk about some of the keys for Olympia in this championship ball game. Certainly, if Mark Bigelow gets off and gets going, that's a big key. But this is not a one-person basketball team by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I told some people before the tournament started, I said, you can't cut out Olympia because they play so well together. But a couple things they need to do, or they must do if they're going to win tonight, they got to contain Jamal Crawford because he gets everybody involved. He starts it and ends it. And they've got to stay within their system. Even though Mark Bigelow is the man for them, he is one of 5 guys, and it is definitely a TEAM.
Well, Olympia will play man-to-man. At least that's the plan throughout this basketball game. And they're going to throw a lot of people, or as many people as they can, at Jamal Crawford because not one single person can stick with him for an entire game. If you haven't seen him, when you do, you'll know what we're talking about. As you look at Olympia warm-up, there's Jamal Crawford. He is worth the price of admission. We'll talk more about him and his Rainier Beach club right after this timeout from the Kingdom Boys 3A title coming your way.
Welcome back to the Kingdom. The Rainier Beach Vikings getting set to take on the Olympia Bears. Rainier Beach got here with not much problems. Rainier Beach, a very talented team led, of course, by Jamal Crawford. Let's see how they did get to the championship game. In their first matchup, they opened quickly with a 50-31 halftime lead on their way to a victory over Tumwater. Their quarterfinal game against Moses Lake was not as close as the score would indicate. And last night, a Ricky Frazier steal sealed the deal for their trip to the finals. Coach Mike Bethea will be looking to Jamal Crawford. Of course, he's the man with all the oohs and the ahs, but he'll also be looking for Ricky Frazier. Here's some comments from the coach and his 2 star players.
Jamal understands that it's because of his teammates. That's why it's so special, because, you know, there's some of them who really sacrifice for Jamal, but at the same time, you know, a player like Jamal makes them a lot better too. But he's definitely a special player, and And to be honest, all of them are special in their own way to me. But as far as talent-wise, yeah, he's definitely something else.
Play hard, play smart, and most importantly, have fun. My coach puts a lot of emphasis on that, having fun, because if you're not having fun, no sense of being out there.
Jamal Crawford's play has been the talk of the tournament. But last night, that star was joined by a sophomore. At only 5'8", Ricky Frazier was the big man in the semifinal win. And for little Ricky, this night is the biggest of them all.
Man, that's going to be the greatest feeling of my life. Just like O'Day, the Metro Championship. I thought that was going to be the biggest game, but this is going to be the biggest for the whole team. All the seniors now have been waiting for this time for 4 years. And now it's time for us to step up and try to win for the coaching staff and for our fans.
It's big, it's great. I mean, that's what we won the whole season. We didn't want to come down here and not get one, so we're going to try to get it.
Rainier Beach, a team on a mission. They've heard about how O'Day was supposed to be here. They've heard about how Mercer Island was supposed to be here. They've also heard about how much Mount Vernon was supposed to be here. But it's Rainier Beach playing for the title. Gentlemen, you got more on the Vikings.
All right, John, thanks a lot. Well, Jamal Crawford is certainly the catalyst, David, for this Rainier Beach basketball team. But this is a deep club. They have a lot of talented athletes. They can go about 10 deep on that roster.
Yeah, you know what? Unless you play against a team like this all the time, it's very tough because they have great athletic ability, great speed and quickness. So it's going to be a real test for Olympia in those regards.
They do not have great size, but they play bigger than their heights, and that's what can make them competitive on the boards against bigger basketball teams. Let's talk about the keys for Rainier Beach tonight.
Well, a couple things. They need to get everybody involved. Crawford's the man. He will lead, and he has done it in the past, but he's got to get them all involved. And they want to play up-tempo, faster pace. It's really two types of up-tempo games. Rainier Beach runs with Crawford leading the show. Olympia runs with everybody getting involved.
Sounds good to me. Sounds like we could have a lot of great action coming your way in the boys 3A championship game. Warm-ups continue. We will hear from the executive director of the Washington Interscholastic Activities Association, Mike Colbreeze, coming up.
Fox Sports Northwest.
Tied with Mercer Island with 6 seconds left last night. Olympia's Mark Bigelow gave his team a drive to destiny and into the state 3A championship game. For Rainier Beach, the Vikings look to senior guard Jamal Crawford for star power in their bid to win it all in 1998 in the Kingdome. A gorgeous night in Seattle as you look at the skyline of downtown Seattle, the Emerald City, glowing, and the basketball we presume will be flowing inside the Kingdome tonight for the boys 3A championship game between the Olympia Bears and the Vikings of Rainier Beach. Hello everyone, I'm Tom Glasgow. Welcome to the second half of our doubleheader. Shorewood taking the girls 3A championship. Now it's on to the boys, a marquee matchup. The Olympia Bears taking on Rainier Beach. Let's take a look at how the teams got into this championship matchup. Picking it up in the quarterfinals for Olympia. A victory over Everett last night in the semifinals. The dramatic win over Mercer Island, setting up tonight's game with Rainier Beach. For the Vikings in the quarterfinals, they took care of Moses Lake with relative ease and then had a battle of their own, getting the 1-point victory last night over Mount Vernon. Dave Harshman still with us, and glad he is. Let's talk about Olympia, David. Everyone says Mark Bigelow's the man, but he's just one of the men, but he certainly is a sensational basketball player.
You know, watched him play last spring and summer. He's made tremendous strides as an individual, but I think maybe the best quality that he has, he's got great leadership skills. We know he can shoot the three-pointer. See the back cut right there and the pass from the point. They play very well together. I've said all year long that I think Olympia is probably maybe one of the best, if not the best team. Their sum is greater than their parts.
Many people consider Rainier Beach's Jamal Crawford as the best player in the state of Washington, maybe the best player in the Northwest. I don't know if that's the case, but at the very least, he's the most exciting player I've seen.
Well, he certainly is. You asked me a question about a comparison to an Irvin Johnson at a younger age. Very Irvin Johnson-esque-like skills. He really makes people better. Not a great shooter, but a scorer. But more than anything else, is he's the guy that can get the ball to people when they need to have it to score.
Yeah, he can do things with the basketball, folks, that'll make your jaw drop. Right now, we want to get it over to John Horton, who has more on tonight's matchup. In fact, within this matchup, there's a heavyweight matchup. John?
You know, the dairy farmers of Washington like to ask, got milk? In this case, we'll ask a different question. Got beef? Yeah, we do. A couple of big guys getting ready for this game in Scott Osk and David King. Osk, 6'4", 275 pounds. David King, 6'6", 285. Between the two of them, they eat 14 times a day. That includes a lot of pizza, a lot of chicken, and by the way, they say they only have one glass of milk a day. A very large glass. Gentlemen.
Well, between those two players, King and Osk, I would imagine there could be some fairly significant picks set in tonight's ball game. We look forward to that matchup and others as well. More pregame from the Kingdom coming your way. Rainier Beach and Olympia getting set for the 3A championship contest. Right now for tonight's starting lineups, let's send it to public address announcer Paul Highsmith.
And now let's hear the starting lineups for the Olympia Bears and the Rainier Beach Vikings. For the Bears, a 24-1 record, starting at a forward, a 6'6" senior, number 3, co-captain Mark Bigelow. At a forward for the Rainier Beach Vikings, a 6'4" sophomore, co-captain number 11, Tim Ellis. At a forward for the Bears, a 6'3" junior, number 21, Matt DeBoard. At a forward for the Vikings, a 6'3" senior, number 13, Mateo Jack. At a guard for Olympia, a 5'11" senior, number 25, Dan Hueller. At a guard for the Rainier Beach Vikings, a 5'10" senior, number 22, Philip Heath. The guard for Olympia, a 6'4" senior, co-captain, number 30, Chris Juergens. At a guard for the Vikings, a 6'5" senior, co-captain, number 23, Jamal Crawford. At a center for the Bears, a 6'4" senior, number 55, Scott Osk. And at a center for the Vikings, a 6'6" senior, number 54, co-captain David King. The head coach for the Bears is John Kiley. The assistant coaches are Don Cruz, Tim Hume, Don Brewer, and Casey Kilborn. Head coach for the Vikings, Mike Bethea.
John Kiley, the head coach of Olympia in his 6th season. Mike Bethea in his 4th year as head coach of Rainier Beach. Different teams and different themes.
On the scoreboard and clock are Jason Stiles and Carol.
We haven't used it a lot, but we've set a theme, Mission Possible. And our mission was to win the league championship, win the district championship, and to win a state title. We got the first 2, and we're 1 game away from completing the cycle.
This is something special. I mean, the kids are special, so and it just seems like it's destined for us. I mean, it's 10-year anniversary. Hey, we're ready to go.
Tell you what, David, this is one to get excited about. 2 quality teams, both very deep, but each providing star power with Bigelow and Crawford. Right now, let's go over to John Horton with more. John?
You know, Rainier Beach is on a mission. They heard so much about how all the other teams were supposed to be here. When I talked with Coach Mike Bethea last night, he said, we've deserved to be here since the opening game of the season. They're here, they're ready to go.
Mark Bigelow, you see the cut over the left eye suffered early in last night's game against Mercer Island, caused him to miss some playing time as that was attended to throughout the ball game.
You know, I'm sitting here thinking, I was involved in an NCAA championship, Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson. Almost identical type situation here on a high school scale.
Michigan State winning that game with relative ease. Hopefully we'll have a much tighter contest tonight. Olympia with the opening possession. Chris Juergens with the basketball. He's headed to Washington on a football scholarship, being guarded by Mateo Jack. Crawford and Bigelow, the two stars, matched up initially, at least from a Rainier Beach defensive perspective. Olympia just looking like they want to execute their offense, get some passes in, and then get to work.
And Olympia has a great basketball tradition, and they've got great patience this ball club.
Chris Juergens with the first 2 points of the game.
Most people, high school, college, pro, don't want to have to play defense for that long a time.
Philip Heath with the ball. He'll play collegiately at the University of Denver at 5'10". He can flat out get up and put it down. Crawford, an NBA three coming up short. Juergens with the loose basketball. Deflected by Crawford. He can't save it.
Not that that's a bad shot, but maybe for your first shot, you want to maybe get a better look, slightly closer than that.
Well, Jamal's scoring in the tournament has been down. His season average coming into the tournament just over 23 points, 19 in the tourney, and last night in the semifinal, shooting as Bigelow lets it go. Osk over the back of David King. Last night against Mount Vernon, Jamal Crawford hitting just 9 of 26 shots, 3 of 9 from three-point range.
You know, David King is a huge young man.
He's a junior tractor trailer. Wears the same number as Robert Traylor at the University of Michigan. Does a nice job. I mean, he gets up and down the court, gets his position, does a nice job rebounding and scoring. Crawford with his second miss. Bigelow either stepping out or dribbling the ball out of bounds, so Rainier Beach gets it back.
Well, Olympia knows that there's strength in numbers, and they're all around the glass. Couldn't come down with the ball that time.
Jack over Osk. Long. Crawford chasing it down.
You can hear John Carly talking, help, help, help. That's the way Olympia plays. They really help each other defensively.
King down low over Bigelow. You know, that's the thing with that size, David. Even though he doesn't have the height, if he gets a guy pinned behind him, he can roll him towards the hoop and do some damage.
He's amazing. I'm trying to think of a good adjective to describe him.
Matt DeBoer, 6'3" junior, putting Olympia back in front.
The one thing about David King, you don't have to tell him to spread out in the post.
Stripped inside by Bigelow.
You know,
going down. He's got some excited feet early in this game.
We talked about how do you play the post. You see Juergens. Juergens is a smart basketball player. He's a very good athlete.
Take a look at David King in the low post.
The one thing you can't allow him to do, see how I bounced it there? He bounced it twice and then turned. If he puts the ball on the floor, you got to go back and attack the basketball.
Bigelow over King. Too hard off the glass. Osk. He's heading to Washington to play football as well. Jack in the passing lane. Rainier Beach's quickness can create tremendous problems for opponents. Juergens missing inside. Here comes Crawford. When he's moving this quick in an open court, he is dangerous on the run. And they'll call him for traveling, carrying the basketball.
He's a young man that possesses a tremendous amount of skills. In fact, I like him better. I like him in the open court, but I like him better distributing the basketball than I do as a scorer. But he's got to do both for this ball club.
I think he prefers to pass first. But again, as the leader of a team, you do feel a burden to put the ball in the hole as well. But he's made some phenomenal passes on the 3 occasions I've seen him play this year. Lob to Bigelow. Great timing. He just couldn't make the catch. Juergens trying to connect.
Well, it was a great pass from about 40 feet.
Heath for 3. Philip Heath showing range that we have not seen much of in this tournament.
Well, Rainier Beach only shooting 27% from three-point range, but holding opponents to 13%.
He's 3-point shot, putting his team up by 1, 5-4. Hugh Weller with the basketball. Dan Hugh Weller. Bigelow for 3.
You wonder how much that injury from last night has obscured his vision on his shot.
Does have some swelling around the left eye. Heath off balance. Back rim. He was fading as he went up to elevate, and shot selection is not real good so far in this game for Rainier Beach, even though Heath hit on the earlier 3. They can certainly do better than what they've been doing as far as shot selection. As you look at Olympia's John Kiley, timeout. We'll come back with more first quarter action at the Kingdome. Olympia taking on Rainier Beach. Action resuming in the Kingdome. Olympia with the basketball, trailing by a point. See the shooting so far? Again, very typical in the championship game as teams tend to start off fairly tight. Jamal Crawford again called for traveling the second time so far.
You know, it can be sometimes you have a tendency to try to do too much to get your team off early in the ball game. You got to let the game come to you. And, you know, these kids are playing in the biggest game of their life. They're 16, 17, 18 years old.
But Jamal has some very good talent around him. Very good athletes, excellent basketball players. It's just a case of, as Bigelow goes in, I think, David, it's the star player tonight who does the best job of getting his teammates involved will have an advantage.
I believe you're right. It's interesting that Bigelow is checking David King. I mean, he's only given up about
100
pounds, I was going to say, or more.
But King is someone, when he's that far out on the wing, Bigelow does not have to be right up on him.
No.
Well, this is something Jamal Crawford needs to settle down, because while he makes the nice dribble and he frees himself, that shot will win you nothing.
Well, and what happens, and this happens on a lot of teams, when the guy has the ball, you see what are his teammates doing? They're all standing around. From Olympia's standpoint, the last thing you want to do is foul a man taking a shot like that, fading away, falling out of bounds.
Again, all right, he heads to the line this time, but Olympia learns from that. They're not going to bail him out in the future.
Well, you'd hope not.
Jamal Crawford.
You know, Crawford had only attempted 2 free throws in the previous 3 games here in the tournament, and gone 0 for 2.
Just a big one late in last night's game, but his team able to overcome the miss. A lot of missed free throws last night in semifinal play in clutch situations in both games. 7-6 Rainier Beach lead. Beach in his zone. They were in a zone last night in the second half against Mount Vernon, and it really caused a much bigger Mount Vernon team a lot of trouble. With the basketball is Ricky Frazier, a sophomore guard, 15 points last night, and he made the steal that sealed the deal for Beach to get into this championship game. Mateo Jack.
And he has one of those youthful expressions. There was a great pass. Sometimes you can be too good a passer for your teammates, but Frazier got the facial looks of a kid who's about 10 or 12 years old.
I tell you, they have a freshman guard who sometimes sees some playing time, and William Conroy over on that Rainier Beach bench. King just using his body, and called for traveling.
I was going to say earlier, I want to see who's going to be the first person to take a charge on either David Keene or Scott Oss.
Well, David with the spin, and that time it was Neil Swanson who's just gotten into the ball game saying, I'll take a little body here.
I got a nickname for him. We're going to call him the Earth Mover.
Bigelow fouled inside. It was a remarkable comeback last night against Mercer Island. All the talk about Bigelow's basket at the end, but they scored 7 points in about 14 seconds, getting a 3-point shot, a 2-point shot, which tied the game. The missed free throws by Mercer Island setting up Bigelow's winning shot.
Well, and here again, Rainier Beach had gone to the zone, and Olympia, and it was Neil Swanson, who's a very good passer for a junior, back pick lob for Bigelow, but the reason that they could throw the lob is that Rainier Beach is playing a soft zone, and you can't play that way if you allow the point guard to stand out there he's like a quarterback just searching for an open receiver. You got to put pressure on the basketball.
Marquise Smith with a rebound. He had also committed the foul. Tied at 7. Ricky Frazier. Again, not a lot of execution on the offensive end as far as passing, reversing the basketball as Neil Swanson travels, turning it back over to Rainier Beach. Beach with 5 turnovers. That's the first for Olympia as far as turning over the basketball. Approaching the 1-minute mark in this opening quarter. Boys 3A championship game. Rainier Beach with the ball against the Olympia Bears.
Crawford isolated an Osk right now. That's a tough mismatch. I'll tell you what, there's probably more turnovers in this game with people trying to do things that maybe they can't do rather than just playing within yourself.
Turnover number 6 against Rainier Beach. See if Olympia plays for the final shot.
We got Bigelow right here. Baseline side. Up front, look.
10 seconds. Bigelow long 3 with Crawford flying at him. Nearly got it down. David King says, let me try a full quarter, and almost got some glass. It's close. Basket's coming at a premium right now. 7-7 between Rainier Beach and Olympia. The second quarter coming your way after this. Olympia, Rainier Beach tied at 7 with the second quarter about ready to get underway. Let's send it over to John Horton.
You know, Tom, one of the officials in tonight's game is a guy who's doing a little moonlighting. He is Rod Marr of the Seattle Times, one of the best sports photographers in the region. He spends half his time asking referees to move out of the way so he can get a picture. Tonight, he's getting in the way of the photographers.
All right, John. Rod Marr working this game along with Craig Smith. Rainier Beach basketball. King and Osk, and the jump hook by the king of the hill.
Well, I don't know if I call it a jump hook, maybe a tiptoe hook. Not a lot of elevation, but he uses that big body well.
I don't think he'll compete with teammate Philip Heath for best vertical leap on this basketball team. Crawford either. They both have some pretty serious hops. Juergens, just out of frustration, let it fly. Again, Jamal Crawford making poor decisions on his shots. And I assume that was a shot. For a while, I thought maybe he was lobbing it up as a pass.
Well, or winging a prayer.
Juergens off glass.
At least his was answered. He came down and it was a jump stop off 2 feet that time.
Chris Juergens, a 6'4" senior. Will either be a wide receiver or a safety at the University of Washington. Who knows? Maybe both. Smith pushing up. You know,
frustration foul.
Yeah, if you're going to do that, it's advised not to do it right in front of the official and so blatantly.
I knew exactly where you're going with that. You know, in high school, there's still only 2 officials. A lot of people say the game's becoming so fast, you need to get another one in there. But this one's pretty easy to call right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I use that play to get open at my age.
Smith, which is quite advanced. Smith with his second personal foul. He's gone to the bench, replaced by Mateo Jack. Started the ball game for the Vikings. Swanson. Nice double clutch move to get the shot off.
Little up and under glide, slide, dipsy doodle. Juergens does a nice job, Tom, of running things for the Bears.
Swanson, who just hit that shot, hit a critical three-pointer last night with 14 seconds left to play to pull his team within 2.
Scott Osk says, I was just trying to get in his road.
Scott Osk, his second personal
foul on Osk. Double 5s on the jersey.
22nd timeout, Rainier Beach.
There's the ball moving by Olympia, and then Swanson over King to give Olympia the 2-point lead at 11-9. Scott Osk, who could have taken Division I scholarships at other schools, wanted to play so badly for the University of Washington. He's going to walk on and hope to earn the scholarship. Weeknights at 7, tune in to Fox Sports Northwest tonight. This nightly news show brings you the stories and features of our Northwest professional, collegiate, and high school athletes. Tune in Monday through Friday nights at 7, right here on Fox Sports Northwest.
You know, I know the host personally.
You do?
Yeah.
You like him?
Nice young man.
Thank you. 5-second count against Philip Heath. He was looking for the timeout. Did he get the timeout? All right. You know, that's interesting because there was a controversial call made last night in the Olympia Mercer Island ball game where Mercer Island, with that 2-point lead at 50-48, same situation in the backcourt, attempting to call the timeout. They did not get it from the official. Instead, were called for 5 seconds. That turned the ball over to Olympia, and that set up the game-tying basket. And that was made by Chris Juergens. As you look at some loyal Olympia fans.
You were stunned there. You were speechless for a moment.
Well, I'm just hoping it's not a skin condition. I'm hoping it's actual body pain.
Well, you know, shot selection is something that I don't want to talk too much about, but it's imperative if you're Rainier Beach.
John Horton has a preview of halftime. John?
Well, Tom, coming up at halftime, we're going to take a look at the Fox Sports Northwest Boys Player of the Year. He's not playing in the championship game, but he was the man that most people were talking about coming into the tournament. We will profile him at halftime.
John with a little tease. We're not telling the folks who it is, so stay tuned for that. At halftime of this boys 3A championship game.
That's a nice shot there. Good crowd, good enthusiastic crowd. You know, that's the one thing that I miss when I go watch a high school game. A regular season game is they're mostly not very well attended.
Yeah.
And that's kind of that bothers me being from the old school. I like to see more people come out and support the kids.
You know, they actually had a larger crowd last night, which is typical. Friday night, you've got 8 teams playing for something with the girls and boys Final Fours. As Crawford, oh my goodness, double clutching and putting it in. He got some great defense played against him, but somehow got the shot off. 2-pointer tying the game at 11. But again, not the ideal shot you want to see.
Olympia breaking the press. Now, here's one thing I was going to say. With Juergens at the point, when he reverses the ball, he must take the ball hard back to the other side in the dribble, not just pass it. You got to make the man out front check you.
Well, nice idea by DeBoard, but
the man wasn't
there.
You know, you got to make sure the man's there.
Crawford feeling it and dealing it.
Well, that one was.
I like that shot, David.
Well, that was the best one he's taken because
as far as in rhythm, yeah.
Yeah, he caught the ball. He just 2-foot jump stop and knocked it down.
The board missing. Swanson's tip. King with the rebound. He just splits that double team with ease. Ricky Frazier penetrating. Mateo Jack can't finish. Rebound by Bigelow, fouled by Jack.
Well, not only it was a great play, didn't finish it, but then makes the mistake of coming down and hacking and drawing the foul.
And there you see the shiner and the bandage over the cut that Mark Bigelow suffered early in last night's game, and he was on the bench for quite a few minutes. In a way, I thought that was kind of a positive because Olympia without Bigelow hung right with Mercer Island, and so they had to feel when we get our guy back, near steal for Rainier Beach, we're going to be in great shape.
Well, coming into this game, Bigelow averaging just under 23 points a game.
Well, I can't believe that was a non-call. He may have gotten all ball, but that was body without a doubt. Juergens with the steal falls down, called for the travel.
And John Kiley is not happy with either of those calls. I was just going to say, is Mark Bigelow in little over 20 minutes. We're going to get a chance to see it right there. Well, he got an awful lot of basketball from that angle,
but a lot of body.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't matter if you get the shot cleanly. If you clobber the guy with the body, it's still a foul. King double team.
Unless you're in the NBA.
Frazier on the move, and of course we're not. 16-11, Beach with its largest lead. Bigelow spotting up.
It's a good shot. I'll tell you what, I believe that Olympia must attack the press to score and not be so hesitant.
Crawford. King can't handle the pass from Jack.
Now they've got to run right now. They can't wait. There's 3 Rainier Beach people behind the ball.
Walk on to board. Excellent call that time. He shuffled the feet.
That time, Olympia needed to really get out and run.
Timeout in the Kingdom. Boys 3A championship game. Jamal Crawford helping lead Rainier Beach to a 5-point lead. Rainier Beach leading Olympia 16-11 boys 3A championship game in the Kingdom. Tom Glasgow along with Dave Harshman. And Dave, you saw something you didn't like on this Olympia fast break.
Well, here's the fast break. They're holding the ball right now. You've got 3 Rainier Beach players behind the ball. Olympia must drive the ball to the basket, or at least get it ahead and try to score in an open court situation. Greater chance to score.
It'll be Rainier Beach basketball. 3:45.
You know, Tom,
the opening half.
If you don't get easy baskets by that fast break points, then you're really going to struggle. Either team.
David King. Jack off balance. Bigelow providing the defense, and King with the catch and the release. Nice job by David King.
You know, coming into the game, Bigelow had 11 steals and 10 blocked shots in the first 3 games.
18-11, Rainier Beach in front.
Juergens still you can't just be a ball reverser. You got to drive the ball into the heart of the defense. Nice pass by Bigelow. Maybe we'll get a chance sometime to talk about it, but when the ball comes from the wing back to the point is when Juergens must try to penetrate or at least draw the defense to him and kick to the open man.
Frazier. Offensive board in those tall timbers. King fouled from behind. Osk may have gotten him. It'll be Rainier Beach basketball.
Frazier doing a great job of using his quickness and his size. You know what? It's tough to play down at that level defensively. So he gets to the paint. Not only that, everybody stands around and lets him get his own offensive rebound. And then King draws a foul over the back. Scott Osk drawing his 3rd foul.
3rd foul, so he's over on the bench. Nick Ammons in for Olympia. Olympia as Crawford misses. King again inside on the offensive rebound. David King. David King last night, no points, 3 rebounds against Mount Vernon. Had a very difficult time dealing with the size of the Bulldogs.
They're playing against two much bigger players, not necessarily heavier, but taller. But he's getting the job done tonight. It looks like the other Olympia players are somewhat hesitant to look at the basket on the perimeter. But one thing you've got to do is when you catch the ball on the perimeter, you got to get the ball what I call in the ready position to make the defense honor you. If you don't do that, they're not going to come out and check you.
Fell on Ricky Frazier, his first 6th team foul against Rainier Beach. So the next one will put Olympia into the bonus. Bigelow misfiring from three-point land. The pretty pass.
David King better take him out for a pizza.
Maybe a couple pizzas.
Well, one for each. See right there.
Yeah.
He's holding the basketball. You got to take the ball and try to get to the gap.
As Swanson did right there, penetrating on the zone. There's some penetration finally. Juergens missing. Frazier coming out of the pack.
You better make that kid pick the ball up. Shot selection isn't in his vocabulary.
I'll tell you what, he shoots it constantly on the run, going to the hoop. And instead of jumping forward, if he'd stop and go straight up, he'd be in much better shape.
Well, I think if I was that quick, I'd have a tough time stopping on a dime and going straight up.
I think we both only dreamed of being that quick. Crawford fouled, and you saw that Kobe Bryant-like dribble.
He drew the three-point foul, which is a plus. But the only thing about this move right here, when he does it, is he really doesn't go anywhere with it. See, he goes around, but he stops. When you put the ball on the floor, you want to create an opportunity for yourself or your teammate.
You're looking at the Rainier Beach bench. One of their assistant coaches, Ron Howard, who used to play at Seattle University. Dave, you know him well. He went on to the NFL.
Yeah, went on. He got a big rock on his right hand in Dallas Cowboy World Championship ring. He also played very good high school basketball at Pasco High School.
We are there when you're looking for the stories, all the sports inside and out. Fox Sports News. Tonight at 10 o'clock on Fox Sports Northwest, the Olympia Huddle. You know, I'm sure that if they get out of here soon enough, they'll catch Fox Sports News tonight.
I think it would behoove them. Maybe we ought to put one of those, give them to each one of the coaches. Let me say one other thing. There's a young man who's been helping Rainier Beach for 3 years named Harold Wright. I recruited Harold Wright to Washington State. He was a soccer player out of high school from Philadelphia. He went to New Mexico Junior College, long way around. But he was an alternate in an all-star game, and I saw him play, and after that performance, people were lined up, and I got lucky and got Harold, and he played 2 years for us. Tremendous young man, and I'm sure he's had a real quality influence on Jamal Crawford because Harold was a point guard.
You've basically recruited everybody, haven't you?
Well,
I mean, you are linked.
I wasn't there for Moses Malone or Moses out of the Bible.
But I'm sure you know all about their recruiting stories.
There's a few of them.
101 left in the opening half. Rainier Beach with a 9-point lead, and Jamal Crawford heading to the line to shoot not 1, not 2, but 3 free throws.
Jamal Crawford.
Crawford in the tournament.
Crawford shooting 2.
Got a chance here, Rainier Beach, to really put a boost to it if he can get all 3 going into halftime.
Say Crawford in the tournament with strong numbers in each category, although his shooting percentages are not that high.
I guess the most impressive thing coming into this game, in the first 3 games, Rainier Beach had 34 steals to 14 for their opponents, so they're a plus 20 there.
You know, I got a stat to top that. I'm going to give it to you in just a moment after this free throw. Jamal 2 for 2. If you look in the state official program and you add up all the scoring averages for the Rainier Beach players, it totals 106 points per game. They average 80 per game, so
Well,
I don't want to say anybody's fudging, but they are generous towards each other. Crawford 2 out of 3.
Looks good on paper.
11-point Rainier Beach lead inside a minute in the opening half. Tim Ellis getting a hand on a basketball.
Well, very poor pass by Hugh Weller that time.
Good young talent on this Rainier Beach team. Ellis, a sophomore. Carl McGinnis, who sees some pretty good amount of playing time, a sophomore. We talked about the 2 guards, sophomore and freshman. So even after Jamal Crawford and Philip Heath move on, a lot of talent left. William Conroy, the freshman, number 5, is in the ball game as Bigelow lets loose.
You know, I'm not going to put this all on Mark Bigelow, but I really wonder about the eye because he is an excellent shooter from three-point range, and he's really been off tonight. I've never seen him shoot this poorly.
Set up for 3, coming up short. King with the board.
You know, interesting statistic that most people don't understand, that 75% of all shots that are missed are short. So you got to get your legs in it, especially when you're shooting that three-pointer.
Well, and something to keep in mind, day 4 of a 4-game tournament, some players frankly lose their legs earlier than others.
Exactly.
And that's not to say we don't know what's causing the shooting problems for Bigelow. Maybe a factor. Crawford way outside. Rebounded by King. Put back. Second try, no good. No, that really wasn't. Now, I will say that was not a bad shot by Jamal in my estimation, and that if he missed a long rebound, a good chance one of his teammates could get it for a second attempt.
Great job by David King to keep the thing alive and almost knock it in.
Rainier Beach, all in all, having to feel very good about the 11-point lead. They will take to the locker room up 24-13. Let's send it over to John Horton with the coach who has the lead. John?
Thank you very much, Tom. Are you surprised at the pace of this game, the 4th game of 4 days?
Not really. I mean, both teams, man, are really letting it go. We had nothing to lose, so we can all be tired tomorrow.
The zone seems to be working against these guys.
Yeah, for now. For now, they're doing a good job. We got to make a couple adjustments on it, but we're gonna keep in it, you know, until it stops working for us.
Are you doing anything special against Bigelow?
No, not really. We're just aware of where he's at. I mean, the guy's such a good player, man. We're trying not to give him too many good looks so he can get in a rhythm, you know. We're just trying to keep him out of the rhythm, make him work hard and stuff with the ball, you know. See what happens.
Mike Bethane's team has the lead at halftime, gentlemen.
All right, John. Halftime at the Kingdom. The Vikings in front of the Bears by 11. Halftime of the Kingdom Boys 3A Championship game. Rainier Beach leading Olympia 24-13. Tom Glasgow along with Dave Harshman. Before we get to a detailed statistical breakdown earlier, Dave, unofficially rebounding Rainier Beach ahead of Olympia 23-11. That's a big part of why they have the lead right now.
And especially probably controlling the offensive boards.
Yeah, David King doing a nice job inside. Right now, let's send it over to John Horton, who has more on the Washington State Boys High School Player of the Year. John?
Thank you very much, Tom. I think you threw it to me. There is a very loud Rainier Beach band coming by. Let's talk about the Fox Sports Northwest Boys Player of the Year. A lot of people thought he was going to be in the championship game with his O'Day team, but Doug Wren didn't quite make it, but he did make an impact on the season. Elise Nemela with a story of Doug Wren.
High school drill team and
explosive. That is the best way to describe Doug Wren, the 6'7" O'Day All-Star who can do it all. His emphatic dunks can ignite crowds, but his game has more than just flash. Some would say that he's overconfident. He would say he's a winner.
If I'm not confident about my game, then my jump shot's not going to sink. I'm not going to, I'm not going to finish easy shots that others you do make. So if you don't have confidence in your game, then you're not having confidence in yourself.
He's a natural leader and the team's star, and that comes with responsibility.
I can't get as angry as I want to. You can't yell at your teammates, and because if you yell at them, especially the team that I have, because they're younger, you yell at them, sometimes it takes away from their confidence. So you got to learn to be the big brother type, the nurturing type. So I try to nurture them, and they nurture me. It's like a karma effect, 360. Like if I do something bad, they pick me up. They do something bad, I pick them up. So it's like, we all love each other. We're a big family.
He led the Fighting Irish to a state championship last year, fulfilling one dream. Following his state tournament appearance, he will turn his attention to helping the Washington Huskies to a title, and he will embrace any role to do that.
Everybody's going to think that, I'm probably going to turn the UW program around, but this is me. I'm just going to come in and do whatever the coach asks me to do, and that means be a sixth man. I'll be the sixth man. That means come and starting five, and just be a contributor and role player. I'll do that. But if he asks me to score, then I'll try to score. Try my hardest.
Throughout his high school career, Wren has proven that he has what it takes to be a winner. Where his path will take him next will be totally up to him.
Thank you, Elise. Back with more halftime activities from the Kingdom when we return right now. Rainier Beach with a lead. Halftime at the Kingdom, where the Rainier Beach Vikings lead the Olympia Bears 24-13. We're coming to the end of the 3A championship tournament. 4 days of basketball where every day the play starts about 9 o'clock in the morning and doesn't end until after midnight. You don't have an opportunity to see all the action, but we wanted to bring you some of the stuff you might have missed.
Take it higher. Take it higher. Take it higher. So good. Take it higher. Can you feel it, baby? Take it higher. Take it
Special thanks to John Lubash and Derek Jones, who've been hanging around this place for the past 4 days. We'll be back with highlights of the first half with Tom and Dave when we return to the Kingdom. Rainier Beach with the lead.
Halftime continues at the Kingdom. The boys 3A state championship game. The Rainier Beach Vikings with a comfy, at least so far, 11-point lead over the Olympia Bears, 24-13. Tom Glasgow along with Dave Harshman. We want to talk about leading scorers, and it's kind of difficult when you talk about Olympia because they're having a hard time putting the ball in the hole.
There's an old saying, to win the games, you got to put the brown thing in the round thing. They're not having much success doing that.
Well, leading the way, and I use that word loosely, is Chris Juergens with 4 points for Olympia.
Yeah, 2 for 5 from the floor. You got this one to drop. He's got to get it going. He's got to get Olympia going in the second half.
Mark Bigelow, the leading scorer, you can see with just 3 points on 1 for 11 shooting. Bigelow in this tournament averaging over 22 points per ball game. On the flip side, a couple of guys having nice offensive showings in the first half for Rainier Beach, and of course one would be Jamal Crawford.
That's the one where he pulled up and shot the three under control that time. That was his best real look at the basket. Got the 9 points, but 5 turnovers don't help.
Now, a bit of a discrepancy as you see the graphic showing David King with 7 points. My stat sheet showing Mr. King with 10 points. So we'll double check that. Bottom line is David King also with 10 rebounds. As you look at Mark Bigelow, who needs to get it in gear in the second half. Halftime at the Kingdom just about over. We're getting ready for the third quarter with the Rainier Beach Vikings leading the Olympia Bears by 11. John Horton with the head coach of the Bears, John Kiley.
Thanks, Tom. John, a tough first half for you all.
Yeah, we're not shooting the ball real well, and I feel like we didn't attack their zone very well. Hopefully we made a couple adjustments that allow us to attack it. Hopefully you'll see more ball movement in the second half, and we'll put a few more points up on the board.
Is fatigue playing a factor for you guys?
I don't think so. I think they should be feeling it as much as we are. I feel defensively we played a pretty good half. Just offensively, we're trying to make a couple adjustments, hopefully free up some shooters, and try to get the scoreboard moving a little bit.
He hopes to see the scoreboard moving in half number 2. Back to you, Tom.
No excuses from John Kiley about his basketball team. Porous shooting and not a very good job rebounding as well, David.
Was he listening to me? They have to attack the zone. You see the shooting. Neither team shooting very well, but when you're shooting 25% from the field, 50% from the line, and haven't hit a three-pointer, and you're being doubled on the board, that hurts. The turnovers is the only real negative that Rainier Beach has going. 9 total, 5 of them by Jamal Crawford.
Olympia ball to start the second half. Original starters for the Bears back out on the court. DeBoer penetrating, had a great opportunity, couldn't finish.
King got his 11th board that time. You know, it'd be great to be able to rebound like that without having to jump.
Same original starting 5 as well for Rainier Beach. Philip Heath with the left hand. Bigelow with the board. Three-pointer long by Dan Hugh Weller.
Not a bad look, but I don't know if you want it that quickly. One pass and shoot it.
Haas did a nice job setting the pick to free him up. Wild shot that time by Tim Ellis. King's offensive putback no good. Olympia basketball, 12 rebounds now for David King.
Scott Ost wanting the official to please remove David King from his back or give him the saddle if he's going to ride him.
Beach with some full court pressure. Long pass breaking it. DeBoer. King called for the block. You know, if he'd have stayed straight, David, he might have drawn the foul, but he turned and got the call against him.
It's kind of a halfway between a pull-up and what we call a slide shot, and you're right. He got the ball on the board right there as we saw the first attempt in the second half and missed the point-blank lane, and you've got to make those things. You know, I got a saying, pick it up along the way. Miss lay-ins are a turnover, and that's exactly what happens when you miss a lay-in. More likely than not, the other team gets the ball, goes down and scores on you. You know, Olympia only shooting 58% from the free throw line coming into this championship game.
Crawford. Three-ball Jamal Crawford.
I don't know why, but I had a feeling that when he went down, right down in front of us, he was going to put the ball up that time.
13-point Rainier Beach lead. Well, Dave, that's the same spot as he hit in the first half from, and in that same rhythm.
A little bit of frustration by Olympia right now that I have not seen from them in this tournament.
You see the ball handling skills of Crawford. Heath with a follow. King with the board, can't get it. Gets the board again, goes up, foul, he'll head to the line.
Oh, they're calling the jump ball. Possession arrow still for Rainier Beach. Two more rebounds.
That's where I jump in and say, my bad. Thought it was a foul.
That's okay.
Rainier Beach on the ball.
David King actually got off the ground that time to get that first rebound.
Beach hoping to add to its 13-point lead. King inside, double team.
Neil Swanson in for the Bears.
You know, there's something you said for that old saying that big guys are still big at the end of the ball game. You know, they remain big. Little guys get tired.
Heath for three. Juergens out to Swanson, driving in. Neil can't finish.
Well,
it's two blown lay-ins.
I'm kind of wondering why he switched and went across his body and then came back with the right hand instead of taking the ball right to the basket.
Two missed lay-ins this quarter for Olympia. Crawford on the move. Short. Swanson, nice job. Three missed lay-ins. Bigelow.
At least they capitalized on that trip down the floor. If they'd have gone 0 for 3, they would have really dug themselves into a hole.
Heath gets the lay-in. Now that play was made by Tim Ellis, who sealed the Bear defenders, creating the lane on the baseline for Heath to take advantage of.
Exactly, but no help whatsoever, no rotation by Olympia that time.
Philip Heath claiming I didn't reach in and hold him. I reached in and he grabbed my arm and pinned it to his body.
Yeah, not tonight. He's not going to get that call.
Out of bounds, Olympia.
Rainier Beach has been in that zone the entire game. As head coach Mike Bethea referred, if it ain't broke, we aren't going to fix it.
That's
so we're
right.
going to stick to it until Olympia can cause some damage. King with a rejection.
Yeah, that's not fair to be able to block that shot by not getting off the ground.
Nice job that time by Bigelow to seal Mateo Jack on his backside, creating the passing lane that allowed him to get the shot off.
Mateo Jack, his second
foul on Jack.
I still get the feeling, though, Tom, that Olympia is not fluid in their offense, and they're hesitant at times to look at the shots and look at the basket and take shots. You know, John Kiley was the point guard on the Olympia team when they won the title in, what was that, 86, I believe.
An Olympia grad, back coaching at his high school. Not a teacher at the school, he's a stockbroker.
Well, that's why he dresses so well.
It's safe to say he remains bullish on his bed.
Very good.
Crawford, the crossover. Putting it home.
The one thing about Jamal that amazes me is even though he floats, he doesn't charge very often. He's very much under control.
Rainier Beach trap.
Yeah, he shoots a lot of balls on the way up and gets rid of it very quickly. And the ball, even though it has rotation, floats.
You know, he's a young man who rarely shows emotion. His demeanor basically stays the same through the good times and the bad times. Showed a little bit last night in the Mercer Island game, but not much. Or excuse me, in the Mount Vernon game, but not much. Juergens thought about it.
And see, neither Juergens or Swanson caught the ball and got it ready. They were merely passers, and you can't be merely passers on the perimeter. You've got to be scorers.
Teams will head to their bench with a timeout. Rainier Beach up 13 in the third. Third quarter, boys 3A championship game. Rainier Beach with Olympia. Let's head to John Horton, who's with some of his relatives right now.
Oh, thanks, Tom. Tonight's attendance, 8,134. A four-day total of 58,534, beating the old record by 5,500. And when you're with these guys, there's an awful lot of house paint missing out of the city of Olympia. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, John. Good to have the Horton clan in the house for the ball game tonight.
You know, my only advice to John is you got to interview the cheerleaders. The heck with those crazy guys with paint all over their bodies.
3:44 left in the third quarter. Rainier Beach basketball. Vikings up by 13.
Olympia needs to get a few stops. They need to make a move. If they're going to have a chance, they've got to get it down into single digits by the end of the quarter.
Pass by Ricky Frazier, stolen. Chris Juergens over and down behind the Beach bench, but he's back on the court.
Jim Lambert, I like that play.
Bigelow again stepping on the sideline, apparently.
Dan Hewiller and Scott Osk in the lineup for the Bears.
He said not the second time, the first time. So he said I was late calling.
Scott Osk back in the lineup for Rainier Beach. So he and King are matched up in their 540-pound battle. Frazier again. Oh my goodness, running one-hander, dangerous play that time. Traveling against Tim Ellis.
You know, when you're as small as Ricky Frazier is, there's a difference between penetration and over-penetration, and he over-penetrated that time. When you beat your person, you must jump stop and get in the lane and shoot the ball. You can't go all the way to the basket. As we saw the collision there.
Osk, short over King. Safe to say so far, this has not been one of the better played state championship games. I mean, we should be well beyond the point of nerves for these two basketball teams.
I think they are. 2 turnovers in a row. The problem is every time Rainier Beach turns the ball over, Olympia fails to capitalize.
No pun intended. Bigelow over King, short again. Ricky Frazier out of the pack. Taking it strong to the hole.
He did a great job of taking it right to the basket. That's what you got to do.
Using his body, what little there is of it. Bigelow for 3. Off.
And you know his body language said he knew that ball, that shot, he was going to miss that shot the minute he let it go.
15-point Rainier Beach lead near the 2-minute mark of the third quarter. Ellis bump, throws it up, can't get the bounce. King inside.
You know, I guess I'm really kind of shocked at the. Not that Rainier Beach is winning the game. I'm watching. Here's Ricky Frazier right now. Look at him. Fearless, which is what you got to be at his size, and just takes the ball right to the rack. But I'm not amazed that Rainier Beach is winning the ball game. What amazes me is the level that they're winning it by, or the margin they're winning it by. And Olympia has not had an answer whatsoever tonight.
Yeah, Olympia has not been, to the best of my knowledge, in this situation at all this year. Second half, as Juergens misses, down by double digits. I mean, this is uncharted territory for a basketball team with just 1 loss this season, and that was in its first game.
Well, you know, Olympia beat a very good Gig Harbor team that I'm familiar with by 20 points this year, so I knew how good they were.
Another Beach hoop, up 17. King with the rebound. And they seem to be the much fresher basketball team. Crawford long on the 3 ball. King just swiping it away inside from Swanson, but DeBoard with the block. The outlet to Juergens. He'll lay it in.
Things are just going Rainier Beach's way. 15-point lead. It's going to come down to under a minute here and a few more ticks. And it's just, right now it's all Rainier Beach. And it's no day at the beach for the Olympia Bears.
Dave with a gem out of nowhere. Frazier. Crawford fading away. Swanson. Crawford knocking the ball away off of Osk.
And missed another one. You need to make the baskets when you draw the fouls. One thing I've noticed, Swanson pushes it up, and Juergens, maybe he's a little tired. He's bending over, but he was behind the ball the whole way. You've got to run when you've got numbers.
Hugh Weller, number 25, heading to the line for Olympia.
The line, and Hugh Weller. Hugh Weller shooting 2.
Solid free throw shooter, 80% during the tournament. 5'11" senior. One of 4 seniors in the starting lineup for Olympia.
Olympia has 3 juniors that contribute a lot there, Amons, DeBoard, and Swanson.
Beach lead at 13. Let's see how well they work the clock.
Playing for the one shot. Awful tough to contain these people.
11 seconds. Heath blocked by DeBoard. Hugh Weller with a nice play, throwing the ball off King. Again, shot taken too early, Dave.
Yeah, but you know, I realize how difficult it is to contain Crawford and then Frazier. And actually, they both did a good job. Frazier with the penetration, but the block shot.
And Frazier nearly getting the steal from behind.
You know, I made the comment earlier, and I tell people when you're handling the basketball, you got to be over the ball. And I know what you're going to say. The fouls are 6-0, or is it 7-0 now?
Apparently at 6.
And a 20-second timeout by Olympia. But what I was going to say is, what Frazier does, because he's listed at what, 5'8", which I don't think he is. But he, you know, it's tough to get down and check people that low, and he really does a good job of making people try to do that.
Weeknights at midnight. It's The Last Word. Sports Radio shock jock Jim Rome from Los Angeles teams up with Wallace Matthews, print prophet from New York City. Sports talk for the fearless. The Last Word. Weeknights at midnight, right after Fox Sports News on Fox Sports Northwest. Ricky Frazier, 15 points, and the game-clinching steal. DeBoard for 3, just before the buzzer, and that might be the play Olympia needs to generate some momentum. Look at that Olympia bench. They are trying, as their fans are, to encourage this team to deliver in the fourth quarter. Now down by 10, 35-25, the final 8 minutes coming up. 35-25, Rainier Beach leading Olympia as we get ready for the fourth quarter. Let's go to John Horton, who is with the superintendent of public schools in Seattle, John Stanford.
Thank you very much, Tom. Rainier Beach, one of your proud schools.
Oh, yeah, and we're very, very proud of them, too. Great sportsmanship, working very hard out here, and 10 points ahead, but they've got to continue to press on, not rest on their laurels.
Even the superintendent of public schools knows that 10 points is one that could be surmounted, but he's rooting for Rainier Beach, I think. Back to you guys.
I'm rooting for Rainier Beach. They're going to win.
John Horton with the general, John Stanford. Fourth quarter underway, Olympia basketball. DeBoard's three-pointer at the end of the third. The first made three-point shot for Olympia tonight. They'll try to get another from Bigelow and do.
And I was just going to say, threes can get you healthy awful quick.
Lead down to 7. Juergens on Crawford. And the foul will go against Juergens.
You know, you can't go out and press Jamal Crawford out that far into half court.
Well executed play, David.
Well, what they did is they ran, Bigelow hit the left wing, ran down through the key and out to the right side, and there was a double pick set for him, set play out of the time, or excuse me, coming out of the quarter.
Osk tipping the basketball. Heath was standing out of bounds after he inbounded it. He didn't make his way onto the court, so an Osk tipped it. It hit Heath, and he's standing there with no place to go. Mike Bethea has to be concerned about the first momentum swing in this ball game that's gone in favor of Olympia. Back-to-back three-point shots to open the fourth and end the third.
Well, Rainier Beach trying to extend their zone. Both Frazier and Crawford very active.
Saw the 8-0 scoring run. Will it be 11-0? Juergens missing, but he chases down his rebound. Bigelow by King, trying to draw the foul, and does. Philip Heath. Bigelow will head to the line. 7th team foul against Rainier Beach, so Olympia in the bonus the rest of the way. That could be a major factor because Olympia has just one team foul.
It could be if they make it, but like I said, only shooting 58.9 from the line in the tournament. first half. 1 for 2 from the line for Olympia, 4 for 5 from Rainier Beach.
Bigelow trying to break out of a horrendous shooting night. Hit the three-point shot not too long ago. Nice stroke on the free throw, and the lead's down to 6, 35-29.
Got his legs underneath him in that three, and that's what you got to do. Use your legs.
35-30.
Olympia has been outscored in every quarter, but this is the one that counts.
I'll tell you what, Rainier Beach has thrived tonight despite really poor execution on offense as far as shot selection is concerned. Offensive foul on Jamal Crawford. So their decision-making process down the stretch is going to be critical. It's one thing, Dave, to make bad decisions when you're up 15. It's another when you're only up 5 in the fourth quarter of a title game.
And Mark Bigelow just made the best play he's made all night, and it was on the defensive end right there. Gave his body up, and that's what a leader does. Here you see it again from the low angle. He knew it was coming, stitches, black eye and all.
We got a ball game, folks. The lead down to 5. Back with more fourth quarter action from the Kingdome. Back at the Kingdome, Rainier Beach's lead is shrinking against Olympia, down to 5. 6:41 left to play in the boys 3A championship game. That's why those Bear fans are fired up as Beach applies full court pressure against Olympia.
Yep, trying to make it tougher for him. Somebody's got to get to the middle of the floor.
See the turnovers by the half.
And Rainier Beach still staying in that 2-3 zone.
Both teams respectable in the second half, taking care of the basketball. What's important is not what you've done up to this point, it's what you do from here on out. Tight ball game down the stretch for a state championship.
They don't know what Bigelow is.
Inside the hoop by Swanson, lead down to 3.
Actually, that bad cross-court pass turned out to be a godsend because Bigelow got trapped in the corner, but he's big enough to throw over the trap.
12-0 scoring run for Olympia. A 15-point lead down to 3. DeBoard diving to save it. Can't. Rainier Beach will keep the basketball.
The Rainier Beach bench is not happy to feel that there's a lot of hand checking going on by Olympia right now.
Rainier Beach shut out this quarter. Crawford.
You don't have to shoot the basketball when you're ahead. There's no shot clock in boys high school basketball.
Bigelow getting the ball back. Again inside Swanson.
Swanson's made 2 or 3 of those moves where he's made the fake and then picking it up strong himself and finished. It's the finish that's important.
14-0 Olympia run. The Beach lead down to a single point. King wheeling, dealing, can't put back good. David King.
I was just going to say everything's been from the perimeter. They need to get David King involved. He was 10 and 10 at halftime.
Well, just to get him a touch on the inside. Then he can kick it out if he doesn't have the shot, but there's no offensive execution whatsoever.
I'll tell you, obviously the momentum has swung to Olympia, but they've got the confidence.
Crawford with the steal. Long arms in the passing lane. 4.5 left to play. Unless we play an extra few minutes.
The Beach needs to get a good look at the basket again.
Crawford fouled by Juergens. Well, Olympia with fouls to give.
Fouls to give, yes. But I don't think you run out there, and especially when one of your starting point guard picks up his 4th foul on a needless foul.
Yeah.
All you need to do is play in containment, because if there's one knock against Jamal Crawford, is he's going to burp something up. You know, he gets impatient.
So 4 fouls on Juergens. He's off of Crawford. Bigelow on Jamal. Nice pass inside to King. Can't finish. Osk with the rebound.
Shot it too quick.
the rebound.
David King's played most of the way, if not all the way. A lot of beef to carry up and down the floor for the whole game.
Frazier's got to watch the 5-second count. Just beat it. Heath saving to Crawford. He says, settle down.
Bigelow now on Crawford.
Teo Jack. Foul.
Sometimes the Rainier Beach players, other than Crawford, have a tendency to over-penetrate and get themselves in what I call no man's land and get in trouble.
Neil Swanson, number 20, picking up his first foul. 13th foul against Olympia. Oh, and the lob inside, King wasn't looking for. Luckily for Rainier Beach, Heath came out of there with it. Bigelow doing a nice job staying between Crawford and the basket.
Not the shot you want. You're ahead by 3. Especially with Olympia playing man-to-man, I think you can get a better shot.
Jergens penetrating the zone.
One of the few times that he did it and looked for his own, but he jump stopped that time, Tom, under control.
Well, it took him a moment to realize I have an open shot.
Yeah.
King double team down low. Now working one-on-one against Osk. Stripped by Hansen. Too much dribbling in the low post. DeBoard. Bigelow. Olympia with the lead, 38-37. For the first time in a long, long time. Crawford back at the Bears with a deuce.
1-on-4. 1-on-4.
And Jamal's probably saying, bring the 5th guy down. I'm ready for him too.
Official timeout. Somebody got hit in the face or the eye, accidentally.
Philip Heath. That happened on Olympia's last offensive possession.
Is Philip Heath's favorite candy bar a...
I know where you're going. Don't go there. All right, here's King down low. Again, dribble, and you said earlier, bring that double team over once he puts the ball on the floor.
Well, and see what he did, and you see the finish right here by Bigelow. You see what he did? He dribbled the ball, King did to the baseline and turned his back. Once he turns his back, he has no vision of the people coming from the top side. And there's Mr. Crawford coming down and letting it happen.
Rainier Beach 39, Olympia 38. We approach 2 minutes left in this 3A championship game. Swanson down low to Bigelow. Turning on Crawford. Jamal with the defense, denying the shot. Two of the best players in the Northwest going head-to-head, and Rainier Beach wants a timeout.
Rainier Beach, 20-second timeout.
20-second timeout for the Vikings. Well, Dave, what do you think Mike Bethea is saying to his basketball team right now?
Well, I'll tell you what. First of all, they better get the ball in bounds. That's the #1 thing on an inbounds play. Secondly, you better get the ball back in the arms. Well, let's watch this play right here. Well, a lot of contact, but I'm not out there officiating it. You know, I think officials don't want to have to make calls and decide games. Anyway, get the ball to Crawford. But you got to tell Crawford, if I'm the coach, I'd tell Jamal, look me right in the eye, and I'm telling you, we're not taking anything but lay-ins, and you're the man with the ball.
John Horton, I believe, with an update on Philip Heath. John? No, he does not. All right. Philip Heath being attended to on the sideline, may have a cut over the right eye that could require stitches, so he's unavailable for these critical moments of the basketball game. Crawford missing, Bigelow with the rebound. Olympia down by 1 with the ball. 39-38, Rainier Beach in front.
The one thing that is in favor of both of these clubs, it's an odd number, so a basket breaks any tie that may occur.
And Bigelow stepping.
You know what? You know why?
Or catching the ball when he's out of bounds.
Because he was not expecting the ball. He was just running through in the baseline, and they ran a skip pass to him. He thought the ball was going to go to the wing.
All right, John Horton quickly. And steal. Swanson with it. Fouled inside by Mateo Jack. Neil Swanson. Now will he head to the line? Will they call it 1-1? All right.
See,
I'm not sure if we were going to get on the shot or a 1-1.
He was trying to go.
John Horton now does have an update on Philip Heath. John?
Philip Heath has a pretty big gash under his right eye. It is under the eyebrow, just at the top of the eyelid. It will affect his vision. They're trying to work on him and get him back into the game, but I think it's a pretty big job they've still got to do on him.
Swanson missing the front end of the 1-1, so Rainier Beach keeps the lead. Now with the basketball, under a minute left to play in the 3A championship game. They do not have to shoot. Crawford will shoot anyway. Missed at his own offensive rebound. 40 seconds. Frazier fouled. Beach wanting the intentional foul.
I'm looking here. I'm looking for the statistic. Frazier, where are we? Ricky Frazier, 4 for 7 in the first 3 ball games. That's 57%.
But just the 4th.
My biggest question. I got one word here. Why? The only thing you shoot. That's why I say we used to have a rule: you don't shoot anything but an uncontested layup. And there's a difference between an uncontested layup and a contested layup or a pull-up.
Final 40 seconds coming up from the Kingdom. Who will win? We'll find out. Rainier Beach clinging to a 1-point lead over Olympia. 39.9 seconds left to play in the boys' 3A championship game at the Kingdom in Seattle. Here's the timeout situation. Olympia with a full and a 28. Beach with a full and the possession arrow pointing the Vikings' way.
You got to protect the basket if you're Olympia. You can't let anybody run out.
Osk fouling Crawford. John Kiley looking like he wants to get his team to the situation where they can put Beach on the line if they need to. Osk picking up the 4th.
In the Olympia lineup.
His 4th personal foul.
Now they brought
the 15th foul.
They brought Ammons in because he's got none or 1 foul. So use him to use up his fouls, then put Osk back in.
Philip Heath, you see him tucking his jersey into his shorts, back in after getting the cut tended to, below the right eyebrow.
Had to change jersey because he had blood on his.
Dangerous pass by Crawford. Mateo Jack double teamed and fouled. Team foul number 6, so the next foul will put Rainier Beach at the line.
Uwiller's first personal foul. Team foul number 6.
John Horton informing us that Rainier Beach has been told not to shoot the basketball. Ammons deflecting it out of bounds. I'm sure they have been told, however, to securely get the ball inbounds and then work the clock, and we'll do what we have to do at the free throw line. And it'll be Ricky Frazier, the sophomore.
And that's a good foul. That's a smart foul. You foul the rookie, make him go to the line. 57% free throw shooter in this tournament. Good foul.
Team foul number 7.
That's only Mark Bigelow's first foul. Mark Bigelow and Jamal Crawford each only have 1 foul.
Chris Juergens and Scott Osk into the lineup for the Bears.
Osk returning. Saw a quick glimpse of him. Free throw shooting tonight.
Ready to come back in the game.
Frazier shooting 1 and 1.
1 and 1 for Ricky Frazier, the sophomore.
He's got a real strange rotation on his shot, but you know what? Doesn't matter if the ball goes in.
Rainier Beach up 2, 40-38. Beach up 3. David King back in the lineup as you look at the Rainier Beach faithful.
King replacing Frazier.
So Frazier heading to the bench after delivering in the clutch.
Could he be the hero 2 nights in a row?
Let's see if Olympia goes for the 3. Swanson long. DeBoard with the rebound. Back out to Juergens. Juergens for 3. Long. Ball inside loose. Philippe coming out of the pack. Fouled in backcourt.
Okay. What happened, in my opinion, there is those young men got caught up in the moment. All you have to do is you have to score. You don't necessarily have to shoot a three, but you got to get a good look. And if you get a two, you're still one down. You still got a chance, you can foul, stop the clock. It's a good look. Back iron. Good timeout here.
Olympia taking the timeout to allow Philippe to think about it. We'll take a break and come back with more. The Beach fans hoping to celebrate a state championship.
16.8 seconds is an eternity if you use the clock correctly.
Shooting 1-1. His team up 3. Rainier Beach up 4. And unlike last night in the semifinal games, it's getting done at the line with the pressure on. Osk with the rebound. 4-point game. Jurgens. Osk for 3. Short. Bigelow inside. Lays it in. Timeout Olympia. 4.8.
20 seconds.
Olympia down by 2, 42-40.
Did I mention you don't have to necessarily shoot a three?
I vaguely recall you're saying something about that. Now, what do? You obviously hope to get the initial steal on the inbounds, but if you don't, you got to foul.
Exactly. You got to. What I say, you got to play what I call underneath the ball. You only give Rainier Beach one way to go, and that's towards the basketball. But you're playing with at least a hand in the passing lane to try to knock it off them out of bounds, or if you can get the steal yourself. Because 4.8 in the backcourt now, if they can get it in the backcourt, you cannot let Rainier Beach run out. So we'll see how Rainier Beach sets up, and I believe that's Rainier Beach's last timeout.
Following this championship game, sorry, David, stay tuned. Fox Sports News will be coming up on Fox Sports Northwest. Heath gets it inbounds to King. He's fouled. 3.6 seconds. Matt DeBoard.
I'll tell you what, you're not going to take the ball away from you. That was Olympia's, I believe, last time out. I think Olympia may have one 20-second timeout, and I think Rainier Beach has a full.
David King, a pretty good free throw shooter in the tournament coming into this game, hitting 6 out of 8.
It's about 75%.
He needs 2 to seal the deal. Now, here's the thing. Last night, it took Bigelow about 6 seconds to dribble the ball coast to coast for a lay-in. They don't have time to go coast to coast for a lay-in tonight should he miss the free throws.
Well, you can actually
get a shot off.
You can go in under 4 seconds, but you can't go all the way. You're exactly right.
3-point. Rainier Beach lead. They don't want to go all the way now because they need the 3-pointer to tie it if King misses.
I'll tell you what, he's cool as a cucumber.
Ball game. And King with the steal. And Rainier Beach with the 1998 Class 3A state championship. We'll try to get the final numbers on David King, but clearly the most valuable player in this championship game. Close to 20 rebounds. Also double figures in scoring and the 2 free throws to clinch the championship for Rainier Beach exactly 10 years after Rainier Beach won the Class AA title back in 1988.
I'll tell you what, a lot of people say the big man is dead. Not so.
Well, the big man's alive. I know he is because he's with John Horton right now. John?
We are are here with the big man with a big couple of free throws. Mr. King, that was clutch.
Man, we believe in God, man. We thank him, we appreciate him all year, man. Play smart, play hard, have fun. We listen to what our coach said. We didn't lose our composure, and we won, baby. I'm so happy. I love all my teammates. This is my senior year. We've been playing together since South Shore, man, and we finally got the W, man. 10th year anniversary for Rainier Beach. Watch out for it for years and years to come.
You all were told that it was supposed to be Mercer Island. It was supposed to be O'Day, supposed to be everybody else, and you proved it.
We proved it, man. I mean, we just do what our coaches tell us. Play smart, play hard, and have fun. And we make the game fun tonight.
You're the big man. You come up with a big bucket. Congratulations. You're the state champion.
Yes. I'm going to Disneyland, baby.
Back to you, Tom.
You know, I go with that guy.
You gotta love the guy.
He is fun personified. David King, 14 points, 16 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 1 block. That's a line score. Back with more from the Kingdome. Welcome back to the Kingdome. The party's on for Rainier Beach and its fans. The Vikings winning the state championship, 3A classification, 44-40. And there's the trophy that will be heading to Rainier Beach High School. Well, no doubt about it, but let's make it official. The Owls Auto Supply Player of the Game, the MVP of this championship contest, the King, David King, number 54, with the ball. Great ball game for him tonight, David.
He's not giving the ball up. This was a classic play for him. Get it, knock it back in. You know, you got to love a kid like that. I mean, he just has great fun playing the game. And if you look out there and say, that guy's not going to decide the state championship game, yes, he did.
Absolutely. Double-double for David King. There's a young man that was shut out in the semifinals scoring last night. I think had only 3 rebounds. So, boy, did he bounce back in a big way when it was all on the line. And Jamal Crawford there is certainly one of the main reasons why Rainier Beach got into and won this championship game. So for Dave Harshman, I'm Tom Glasgow saying it's so long from the Kingdome. Coming up next, Fox Sports News with all the scores and highlights. Lots of March Madness going on around the country. Fox Sports News will bring it all to you. Once again, the final score, Rainier Beach over Olympia, 44-40 in the boys 3A championship game.
Reminder, Rainier Beach fans, when you exit